Alright, welcome back. We're hanging out in the garage today, and today we are going to start the reupholstering on this bench seat for the 76 Ford F-150. Now let's take a closer look at it. Now, closer inspection, as you can see, driver's side is shot, and all of the stitching is cracking. You know, it's all dried up. It's shot. Okay. All right. The first thing I want to point out is we're going to do about the same kind of patterning. We're going to do pleats, and we're going to do just a I don't know, something a little more cooler than what they did from stock. So you stay with me. We're going to go through. I'm going to show you how to make all these patterns. Okay. And then we're going to put the piping in and see what the foam and the springs and everything hopefully feel pretty good, because we just want to make a cover for this thing. It's something that anybody can do. It's quick, you know, it's relatively quick, and it says I think anybody could do it. You need a little bit of foam, 1/4 inch foam, and your vinyl. Alright, here's the vinyl. Now, I think it's going to be really close, if not better, because it's going to, see if you can see, this vinyl's got a little more pop to it than, obviously it's not sun faded, but this is as close to a, you know, the stock blue, but I like it. It's got a little more pizzazz to it. I don't know, pizzazz, can you say that? It's got a little more pizzazz to it. So we're going to get this set up. We're going to start making some panels. We're going to sew them all in. You'll see. Just hang out with me. We're going to make new seat covers, new upholstery for 76 Ford bench seat. Let's go. All right, we got our vinyl out on the table here, and we have our T-square. First thing you want to always do before you start cutting out and gluing or doing anything, you want to square your material off. And well, just take a T-square, and one edge is factory, and this side is usually the cut edge. We got to square this off so it is factory, and it's off a little bit. Chalk. I use white chalk. You can use a grease pencil. I like white chalk. Chalk comes right off when you're done. I use scissors. You can cut it with a knife, but I like using scissors just to cut this nice and straight. Okay. Now, my pleats are going to be, there's 4 patterns, 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom seat, and they're 26 inches. My patterns have to be at least 26 inches by 20 inches tall. So I'm going to make my marks for the pleats where I'm going to sew. I'm just going to go all the way across, and I'm going to see how many I can fit. And then if I make, they have to be at least 20 inches tall, which is right there. So what I'll do is I'll make them. That might be hard to sew. We'll do the 20s first. All right, so let's mark our 20 inches tall. You'll see as we get going here what I'm doing. Okay. Now this ruler is an inch. This ruler is 1 1/8 inches. Those are going to be the size of my pleats. It's just easier. I already have a square, you know. So I'm just going to start marking them. give you an idea what we're looking at. So I'm going to make my patterns with the width of this steel roller. Okay. All right, fast forward. Here we have one. Now, normally I would just keep on going. Okay. But I'm going to cut this out. We're going to glue some foam on it because I want to show you what's going to happen when I start sewing this. It's going to look really cool. But this is one of the 4 patterns I need to cut out. Alright, first thing we got our 1/4 inch foam with a scrim backing. This is for sewing. So you get, it's foam on this side and it has this little backer here so the stitch will stick when you sew it through. Alright, now glue. Got my gun. This is just a $13 Harbor Freight. Nothing spectacular, just a regular spray gun. Here's the glue. Here's the glue we're using. Lockweld, heat resistant, blah blah blah. It's there's other brands. This is what I use. Okay. Now, all I'm gonna do is pour it right in here. I don't thin it. Don't cut it with anything. Right out of the can. Right into the gun without really spilling it, right? Perfect. A little bit on your hands. Yeah. I want to flip this over. I want to spray the back. Let me see what we got here coming out of the gun. A little too much juice here. That's good. Okay, spray the back. Get that out of the way. And spray the foam. Nice. And this stuff smells great. All right. Air a little bit. Let it rest for let it rest for like a minute or so. That should stick wonderful. Okay. Tap it down a little bit. I don't want to take my chalk off, so just tap it down. Yeah, that ain't going anywhere. It's just to hold it until I sew it. Now I just cut it out. And we are going to go sew it. Now keep in mind, like I said, we're going to make 4 of these. And we're going to sew them all together. Alright, there we go. We got our pattern ready to sew. Ta-da! Da-da-da-da. Alright. Okay. Alright, let's go. Alright, here's my setup. I got a Consew CP146RL. Alright. I'm using white. I'm using a white 92 poly white. Okay, 4 ounce. And we are ready to start sewing. Should be set up already. I got the sewn the first pattern, and I'm gonna wipe the chalk off. I spray it down. I think this is simple green, Windex, anything like that'll work nice. Just wipes the chalk off. All right. Can you see? Let me see. All right, and you can see the difference now. Look how nice. Look how nice the. Look how nice the threads pop now. You know? Let's see if we get a little close. See how nice the threads pop? Isn't that cool? Now, this particular pattern, it's longer than what I need. I'm only going to need about this much out of it. Okay, so the ends are going to get sewn off, and then this will all get cut off. So that's why I don't worry about locking in the stitch at the end, because we're going to sew right across here with some piping. And so anyway, here we go. We got to make 4 of these. Fun, fun, fun. A lot of time.
5 minutes later.
All right, seat patterns. Right, we're going to sew them together now. Here's a little glimpse. Da-da-da. This is the little glimpse of the seat pattern. All right, so we are going to do the same thing to these guys. We have back of the seat and the bottom of the seat. All right, so first thing I want to do, we're going to square this up here. I'm going to cut this off. Now on the piping, on the welt here, I want a good 1/2 inch. Okay, I want a nice 1/2 inch of vinyl. Okay, this is more like 3/4. I want like a 1/2 inch. So I'm gonna cut this down to have a nice 1/2 inch piece to sew. Just makes it easier to line it up when I go to sew it. Alright, how much do we need here? Whoa, hang on there, buddy. Alright, that's more than enough. Snip. Okay, that goes over there. We'll get that later. Alright. That looks good. We're going to sew this guy on here. Now, what I like to do, since I like to line this up, I like to staple this guy on here, like this, just to hold it till I get it where I want it. Makes this line much straighter when you're sewing it. Or I could just shove it in the machine and sew it, but I don't know. I like to make it as clean, as straight as you possibly can make it. Alright, so that's on there like that. Now, I want to take, I'm going to cut this off too now while I'm here. Cut this foam off. Right. So. Okay. There we go. Put this guy aside for now. All right, we got the two patterns sewn up for the seat on the bottom and the back. Okay, there they are. Let's keep going. Now I staple my piping on. It's nice and straight. It's ready to go, okay? So here's my top piece. Now we just got to get this sewn on here. Nice. See how it goes. Gotta make sure we stay straight. Get tighter than that. Alright, let's check it out. Very nice. Two. 22 on the top. This comes down on an angle. This should be alright. 22 on the top. I got plenty. Okay, I have the top of the front panel sewn on here, as you can see. Now, I took the whole pattern and laid it on the seat because I didn't take the old vinyl off yet. Now, what I did, took a marker and I traced the seat so I know exactly my dimensions, right? This is a quick way of doing it. In this particular case with a bench seat, and it's the patterns are pretty much not as intricate, so to speak. So all I have to do is trace what I have up there to get my front section piece, and then this is going to be the exact cutout. Flip her over. There it is. I'm going to run a piece of welt. See if this will work all the way around now. If this is the right one, let me look. So this will be my welt for the top piece. Just in case you're scratching your head a little bit, let me show you what it was going to look like. Alright, we got it tucked in. Here's what it looks like. Boom. Look at that. Okay. We're all cut nice on the edge. 1/4 inch seam allowance too. Alright, a little tip here to make your welt go around the corner. If you put little slits in here, cut it, cut it, cut it, cut it, cut it, cut it. It'll go right around the corner like it is. Okay. I like to use, as you see here, I like to staple my welt on before I sew it on. That way it doesn't move, because once it moves, it's gonna really stink. Okay, you're gonna have a hard time lining that back up once you sew it. Okay, we are ready to sew. There's a good shot of it. There's the back of the seat. All ready to go. Got the top welt stapled on. We're gonna sew the back pieces on. Getting close. We're getting close to putting this top piece on. Like if you're watching, okay, you can see that. Just take your time. Anybody can do this. It's not rocket science, but you gotta be very careful, because if you screw up, it's tough to start over. So let's keep rolling. Okay. Alright, we got her. Got a French stitch on the end here. See, that's it. French stitch. Okay. Got a French stitch on this end. I want to show you how I cut this out with a little razor blade. I'm going to cut out some of the pieces to this that I kind of want to save as a reference. Now, the whole seat itself, like the top piece, I mean, this is, it's self-explanatory. I already have that made. All right, I just made it bigger. I made it bigger than what they had here, and I kind of wanted to keep the same theme going on it. But some of this stuff here in the back, you know, a bench seat like this isn't really that intricate, but I want to cut these pieces out and replicate these the best we can, so it fits really nice going back on to the seat frame. All right, so here we go. I'm going to cut these out. Now don't cut yourself, but just come down here. I know you've seen me do this already before, and I just want to cut the old thread. Now the old thread is usually at this point on an old vehicle, it's so brittle and dry that it'll just pop right off like this, right around, pop, 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 all the way around. Alright, So I'm going to get this one off next. I'll come over here. I won't even need to cut this guy out, but I do want the side pieces that are round. We're going to cut these out. I'm just going to measure whatever this is. I'm just going to measure. It's showing 5 inches, but I'm not going to reuse this old dried up plastic hook piece. Okay, I'm going to make my own. So I'm going to make this next piece 9 inches. Because I'm going to have to fold it over, put a rod in it, so you'll see. So this is going to be 9 inches by whatever, you know, by 4.5 feet. So that's how I'm going to do that. Let's finish cutting this out. I want the side pieces here more than anything.
5 minutes later.
Alright, I got the bottom cut out, but more importantly, I got the surround pieces on the bottom, which are just easier to trace now onto a new piece of vinyl. So I'm going to cut these out. But what I like to do before I cut them out, I like to take and draw a line, okay, like this. What I like to do is I take a line, put some lines on here, and then I know like which section, you know, this is A to A, all right? And then I come over here to this side. I show you. I come over here to this side, all right? And this side, whatever, side will be B, okay? That way I know when I cut these out, I put them back together the same. So I'm going to show you this real quick way of making sure you got the exact same pattern on your new material. I have the old one cut out here, and I'm going to center it on what I have. Okay, and it lines up pretty much right with the stitching actually. And I want to start on one side and trace it. Now I'm using a magic marker. Keeping in mind that I'm going to cut this out, and there's a 1/2 inch sew allowance. You won't ever see the magic marker. There's no guessing. There it is. My seat pattern for the bottom. Now I do want to cut. I am going to cut across here once, okay, to line up where it has to be cut on the back. I have my mark already here. And now I have my mark over here. I'm going to connect the dots. I can feel right where that is. That's right here. feel where that is. There's a hump right there. All right. Same thing on this side. Connect the dots. Okay, that's where we're cutting. Okay, we can cut this a piece out now. This one we're going to save. All right, doing great. Okay, another little trick I'll show you. Now I have my patterns marked, remember, with the lines B, and don't take the whole thing off. Just leave a little bit on the end to hold it, and then you'll know that this piece is going to line up with this piece, okay? You don't have to cut it off completely. Same thing on the other side. Just let it hang, and then we're going to trace it. We're going to chuck this anyway. So, okay, just like that. So now I got would be the A side, okay, A side, and it's stuck together. I don't have to cut this all the way apart. If you're doing multiple patterns, like you have a bucket, a set of bucket seats, you're gonna have a lot of these. You're gonna have a lot of patterns. So when you cut them completely off the old seat, your chances of mixing up your patterns and not getting them back together right are goes up. So if you leave them together by a thread or two, you'll know that this goes here. Okay, you'll know that this section here goes here when you go to put it back together. All right, now we're going to cut these out of new vinyl. All right, now I'm cutting the patterns out here. Okay, I'm cutting this pattern out. We're going to trace it. I want to use chalk this time. I'm not using magic marker because I'm gonna. I gotta leave a half-inch sewing allowance, okay, for my. When you go to sew it, you tuck in or you sew over at least a half-inch of pattern. So you need at least a half-inch. So this is going to be basically directly on where I got to be. And I need to add some here for my sewing allowance. So what I'm going to do, there she is. And when I cut this out, I'm just going to add a good half-inch. Okay, this is B side. Just for reference, this is the B side. Kind of want to hold it with one hand so it doesn't move, because it's going to want to move. Okay, can you see that? Let me show you up close. That is actually, this is actually triple stitched, so can't go nowhere. Okay, you see that? Triple stitch. Twice on the back and one on the front. Triple stitch. Alright, we got all the panel pieces tied in here. I'm going to sew them up. I have the piping taped. I have the piping stapled, and my bottom pieces are all on. Let's sew this all the pieces together and finalize this bottom seat. Alright, let's take a look here. As you can see, we got a nice piece. We have a nice piping here going around. And if you look here, this is chalk. Remember the chalk? It'll wipe right off. Alright. So let's bring in the seat and fit this up. Alright, let's take a shot here, see what this came out like. See what we got. Oh yeah. We gotta make something there yet. And this over this hump part here, we're gonna make something. So I don't want to shove this on quite yet. But as you can see, it'll be just fine. Yeah, that's gonna come out nice. Now the original seat had the little plastic clips that held the vinyl on. We're gonna put wire in. I sewed the pocket for the wire, that way we can stretch this nice and put some hog rings in. I'm gonna start in the back, in the center, with my hog rings. Now originally this would clip on here, but now we're gonna bring it over to the spring. Just because I couldn't reuse the plastic hooks they had, you know, the little plastic trim piece. This will work even better. All right, there she is. All done. Now I'll show you some befores and afters. Da, da, da. Beautiful. Came out beautiful. Now, if you liked the video, check out my shop on my YouTube channel. I'm selling hats. We have a couple different colors. All proceeds go to help keep the channel going. T-shirts coming soon. I want to thank you for watching. Doing upholstery is tedious. It's very particular kind of work. But if you like it, we're going to do more. We got a lot more coming. Please like and subscribe. And we have a couple more projects coming up. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching.